The mission of CUNY is to educate the whole people of New York.
The City University of New York, you most likely know it as CUNY. Originally named the Free Academy in 1847, CUNY from the beginning set out to be the pioneer of accessible higher education. Over the decades, CUNY has consistently provided millions of New Yorkers with affordable and accessible higher education, enabling them to pursue a streamlined college experience spanning just 4 years. Or do they? While CUNY schools remain one of the cheaper options when applying to college, there are institutional-wide issues that wipe away the perfect image that CUNY wants to portray. From enrollment issues to financial aid complications, CUNY schools expect students to get it all done in 4 years, ignoring the many problems students face. Today, you'll hear from some of the students at Brooklyn College, one of CUNY's most prominent schools. We'll hear firsthand what it's like to be a part of the 4-year race.
My name is Allison. I am currently an undergraduate student at Brooklyn College. I plan to graduate this year in 2024 with my bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in marketing.
When preparing to apply to colleges, each student has a certain idea of what they will be going into. College is different for everyone. Prospective students each have different perspectives on what college means to them.
I really didn't have any perceptions or anything I really assumed. I think with college as a whole, I really assumed that it would be the end all be all, especially since my parents are immigrants. They kind of stress the importance of education, and no matter which college I went to, they just stressed to me that, you know, if I'm going to go to school, that I need to be sure that I'm focusing on getting an education so I can get the perfect job in the future. So I guess going into college, I thought that college would be the way for me to be able to provide for myself and for my family.
When I was in high school, I feel like what going to college meant was just higher education and like just really preparing for the world, because they say a lot of that in high school where they're like, well, we're preparing you for the real world, but I feel like it's really college that gets you to that level because you're actually working with different people. Like in high school, you have pretty much the same class with everybody. And I feel like in college, it's pretty mixed. Like I may have some people that I have class with often, but like in other classes, it's going to be a completely different switch. It's going to be a completely different group, and I'm going to have to work with a completely different group.
From a vessel of opportunities to just a means to an end, everyone has an image of what college is. This is just when they are preparing for college. But what happens when they are officially a college student?
So my college experience was a little different, especially with my expectations. I was homeschooled in high school, so a lot of it I wanted that like public school experience where there's that campus life, because I didn't really get much of that in high school. And then I went to a community college where there was a lot of campus life, and then I went to CUNY where there's almost none. So that like expectation wasn't really met.
It's no secret, college is hard. In the spring of 2023, over 55,000 undergraduate students revealed that approximately 76% were experiencing moderate to serious psychological distress, with 36% of college students suffering from anxiety, 28% suffering from depression, and 8% suffering from PTSD, just to name a few.
I was so scared because I had just moved here on my own. I have no family out here. It was me and one of my friends that like came here on our own, and I had just found an apartment with a roommate I barely knew. So I was so scared.
You know, no one's really going to be on you as much as they would have been in high school. Like now in college, it's like, you know, it's all you. Like this is your next step to like securing a career or securing an internship. Like
it just like gets a lot, and I feel super overwhelmed, and then I just end up like not doing anything because I feel so overwhelmed. It sucks.
College students are notorious for their high stress levels and their low funds. Many students resort to working either part-time or full-time while still in school. All of the stress students go through to get it done in how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
Before we hear from students, what is CUNY Take 1530? This campaign is part of the CUNY Academic Momentum Campaign to boost graduation rates among associate and undergraduate students. The campaign saw successful results with first-year students taking 15 or more credits, increasing from 30.6% to 40.7%.
Many students think their grade point average will suffer by adding an extra class. But studies show that on average, students who take more courses do better. It's all about the right mix of credits. And everyone's 30 credits a year looks different. If you can't take 15 credits a semester, make up for it the next one, or take advantage of your college's summer and winter sessions. Talk to your advisor and map out a plan. Your advisor can help you select the right courses to take each semester and come up with a schedule that makes the best use of your time on campus.
However, statistics do not accurately represent the average student experience. Students and faculty alike agree that 15 credits a semester is doable, but not for all. Students have responsibilities that don't allow them to commit to being a full-time student. It is especially common for students to work.
That is such a privileged ad, first and foremost. Because I'm currently doing 17 credits a semester and I'm dying.
It's not that I think it was bad. I think their real hammering in on the on-time thing was kind of iffy.
As part of the scholars program, they only ask that we take 15. Say I missed out on a credit last semester, they won't let me take a third class. They, in the winter and summer, like you said, they don't offer any good classes. Those are only electives. So how is that better? It's very backwards.
But for someone like me who is working full-time and was also doing full-time courses, I do find myself having to drop one course at least to kind of like balance it so I'm not completely burning myself out.
I have a lot of times when I'm really overwhelmed with work or I'm really overwhelmed with school. But, thankfully, for most of the time I can keep it under control, but I could definitely say that, these bags under my eyes, I've earned them. So.
It was incredibly overwhelming. It was time consuming for sure, and it was a little difficult to balance out my work-life balance, if you will, and academia on top of it.
What about them?
The longer you stay, the more you pay. My problem with that is that while that is true, right, if you will run out of tap, is that if you are going to school part-time, right, you might actually have time to study and have a job where you can save enough that you could pay that tuition, right? So it is a trade-off. I just feel like students should know that they have the option, that they can get part-time tap, right? That there is a path for them to be successful students while being part-time, while not following this narrative of being on time, right? And finding something that actually works for them.
Every semester, there comes a time when advisors reach out to their students and help their students register for classes. At least, that's what they should be doing.
Do you know who your advisor is?
No.
I know who my advisor is. My advisor communicates with us a lot. She's reaching out a week or two before it comes time to register to let us know that we need to make appointments with her.
The specific issues I've had with her was just miscommunication and her not knowing a lot of the stuff. So every time I would ask her for help, she'd be like, I don't know, but you can call this person, you can speak to this person. And then when I speak to them, they also don't know. So I just felt very alone.
Students will make their schedules with their advisors, enroll in courses, and prepare for the next semester. Ideally, this is what registration is like. However, students share a completely different experience.
When it comes to hitting your major requirements and your graduation requirements, there aren't always classes that you need available. I have to graduate in 3 years. If I'm on GI Bill. If I want it to be paid for, I have to graduate in 3 years, which means I have to go to school during the summer. But it kind of screws me over when during the summer, there's barely any classes for me to take. If there is, it's just electives. And at that point, kind of just wasting my time if I'm only taking electives.
And so here, you just kind of see another level of exploitation when it comes to adjunct professors and just the amount of students who just aren't really given not necessarily the incentives, but kind of the safety nets in order to really become students per se, instead of full-time workers.
In college, you're alone because sometimes an advisor will tell you something else, but then somebody else would tell you something different, and it's I don't know what to do anymore, and then I just end up crying.
The journey to graduation at CUNY is riddled with obstacles. but students remain resilient in the face of adversity. Through collective action and advocacy, they strive to create a better future for themselves and generations to come. Students from many CUNYs continue to fight for their resources, using their voices to do good and make change happen. This is for all the CUNY students, from students who never got a reply to that email, to those who have to pay out of pocket, and to those who have to stay an extra semester. One day, you'll cross the finish line of the 4-year race.